Hello class, my name is Justin Lamboy and my informational speech is going to be on the Electoral College. I'll be covering a brief history of the Electoral College along with some alternatives that have been brought up. So, as far as brief history, the Electoral College was founded during the Constitutional Convention, which was after the 7 years of the Articles of Confederation, where they weren't able to, where our founding fathers, they weren't able to pay off debts and whatever else, so they had to go with the Constitution to make a more nationalized country, a more country than just individual states. And so that led to the Constitutional Convention, where there was a bunch of different ideas as far as what should be done as electing the president. There was 4 different ideas, and they decided that the one that fits best was the Electoral College. They decided this by electing a committee of 11 to decide what they should do. At the time, there was only 4 million people across the 13 colonies. So that's a big difference compared to over 300 million that we have today. So, you know, that alone shows that maybe we need to update a little bit. All right, and, sorry, pop-ups working. And so when the president becomes elected, the whole process works where, you know, each state, there's 48 states that have the majority take all, and then there's 2 states that don't, which is Maine and Nebraska. And basically the Electoral College is a body of people who elect the president, but we elect as far as voting majority in the individual states. So you see with California having a large amount because of the population and the amount of representatives that they have as far as congressmen and senators. And so as a total, we have 538 votes. And as I said, it's based on the congressmen and the senators, and it has a whole winner-take-all system, which if a candidate gets 50% and another candidate gets 40% or whatever, that 50%, that candidate got the 50% will get all the votes in the state. And you know, of course, it's different in Maine and Nebraska, which I'll cover that later. And we know Washington, D.C. isn't a state, but under the 23rd Amendment, it was made as far as Electoral College, it was given like the power of the state, voting power, I guess you could say. The pros and cons to Electoral College, I mean, there's more than this, of course, but to keep it nice and simple, you know, the pros and cons are both discourages third-party participation. As far as third party, you have like the Green Party, the Libertarians, you know, all these other parties besides Republican and Democrat. So with the pros, it keeps it a 2-party system, which it keeps it more simple, at least for voters, because when you make it more complex, you know, voter turnout right now is already minimal. So it's going to be, it would be a lot worse if you made it more confusing. It's sad to say. It allows candidates to know where they need to go as far as their campaigns. So, you know, you have the swing states like Ohio or Florida where it can go Democrat or Republican. So the candidates, presidential candidates, will focus more on these states that they need more support in. And that also is a backfire as far as a con, because now candidates no longer care about California, because California is most likely going to be go for the Democrat seat. And so Republicans won't pay as much attention because they know that chances are it will go to the Democrats' candidate. Another con would be, as we saw with Gore and Bush back in 2001, where a candidate can get a popular vote. So they can get the most votes as far as nationwide, but they can still lose the Electoral College. Because as you saw up here, you know, you can have all these red states, but if you have the main blue ones with the more electoral votes, you're going to win. Because that's what we base the presidential election on. And of course, with the Electoral College, Americans may feel like their vote doesn't matter. Because what if you're that 40% that voted Republican, but you know the 60% was Democrat? Now, all the electoral votes just go to the presidential candidate who won that state. And so that can lead to a lot of frustration among Americans. That's one of the reasons why there is a lack of participation. Like I said before, Bush versus Gore, one of the biggest negatives of popular vote, but not winning. With the Electoral College, you have, when it's really close in certain states, you'll have to recount and recount. So that's what happened here. They had a recount after recount, and after a while, it was just, you know, this is what it is, you know, you lost. And you took it to Supreme Court and went through all that legal avenues of approach. Some alternatives to electoral college would be the instant runoff, which this proposes that voters rank the candidates, each candidate as 1, 2, and 3. So, you know, say President Obama for 1, Romney for 2, and Al Gore